Mary here, and welcome to a new edition of Books and Cookies Book Talk. This is my October wrap-up video, and yeah, I know there's only 5 books here. I have read another one on my tablet, so it hasn't been the most successful of months for me. But all in all, I'm pretty content. I will still be able to finish my unofficial goal of reading 100 books this year. I'm currently at 81 or 82, so I have 2 more months to read 18 books, which seems doable, hopefully. I don't know. I hope so, though. So let's get to it. The first book that I read during October was The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is the first book in the Gentleman Bastard sequence. I have been putting this book off for almost a year, if not more. Why? Because of the tiny script. It was fantastic. I have laughed out loud in this book more times than I care to admit. It was so awesomely well written. It was so smart. Like, this was the thing that really stood out for me. This book is basically about a band of thieves. They come up with these elaborate schemes to scam rich people and literally get all their money. And they're so smart and so well thought out, everything that they put together, their plans. I just had the best time reading it. I would have finished it a lot sooner had it not been for my reading slump. I definitely urge you guys to pick this up because it's absolutely fantastic. Next up, we have Captive Prince by C.S. Packard. I hope I pronounced that right. This is book 1 of the Captive Prince trilogy. And this was recommended and gotten to me for my birthday by Allison from Read Around the Rosie. Thank you so much. She has been raving about this book for quite some time, and I was really eager to pick this up. And it was not what I had imagined. It was just, it was good. So I enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to reading the second book in the series. It's about this conflict that exists between 2 nations, and in one of them there's a coup, and the prince is presumed dead, but he's actually made a slave, like a pleasure slave, and he's sold into the opposing country's royal, ensemble. Basically becomes the pleasure slave of the prince in the other faction. So these are rivals we're talking about, and it's a very sexual book. I don't usually read books like this. The writing was beautiful. There is a plot in here, so he's struggling to escape and to get back to his homeland, and he's just caught in all these political games that happen in the court. And it was wonderful to read. The only thing that I disliked in this book was the lack of female representation. So everyone in this book, every main character, everything is, they're all males. That was something that kind of bothered me, but I really look forward to reading the second book. Everyone has told me that it's much better than this one, so I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, we have The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson, featuring, look at what my puppy did to my book. Yeah. The bookmark was in a worse state. This was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. I love this book so much. It's about a girl whose sister, she dies from a heart condition, and it happens very suddenly. And it leaves Lenny, in a state of shock and just trying to navigate her life and deal with it in the aftermath of her sister's death. She kind of has a thing with her sister's ex-boyfriend, so it's kind of a no-no. But at the same time, she kind of falls in love with the new boy in school, and she just has all these conflicting feelings because she's 17, she's growing up. She starts feeling these urges, these feelings, everything, and she feels guilty for feeling them while, her sister's not around anymore. It was just so beautifully written. This was my first Jandy Nelson book. I want to read I'll Give You the Sun so badly, but I don't have it yet. I have nothing but praise for this book. If you're looking for a very awesome contemporary young adult book, this is the book that you should be focusing on and just moving towards. is absolutely stunning. Next up, we have The Sacred Lies of Minnow Bly by Stephanie Oakes. This is one of my favorite books from 2015. It's absolutely horrifying, but at the same time, it's so hopeful, and it left me in a bundle of emotion. I loved it so much. It tells the story of Minnow Bly, who is a girl who for the past 12 years has been living in a cult, so like a religious cult, called the Community, and something happens one night, and the camp where they're at, which is in the woods, catches fire, and everything burns down, and in this way this community is revealed to the world. And she ends up in juvenile detention because she beat up a boy in the street while running after what happened. And there's a detective, an FBI investigator, who is tasked with trying to figure out the events that led up to that night. So basically, he's trying to figure out what Minnow's life was during her years in this community, and what drove her to do what she did, and what, trying to understand the psychology of this religious cult. It's so good. Oh my god, I have been dying to read this ever since Allison. Allison's always in my videos because she's freaking awesome. So ever since Allison read it and told me that she loved it, I have been wanting to read this book so badly, and Alexis got it to me for my birthday. Thank you so much. And I had to pick it up. It was a perfect read for October because it's freaking terrifying. It's so graphic at some points, but I cringed a lot of times while reading this. But at the same time, it has such a powerful message, and in all the most awful things that could happen to you, there's always a glimmer of hope, and Minnow manages to find it. And I think this is at the same time a story of redemption, and it's just so beautiful. Oh god, please pick this up. I've been screaming for the past month to everyone to just pick up this book. Next up, we have Armada by Ernest Cline, who is the author of Ready Player One, which is one of my favorite standalone books ever in the history of the universe. And Armada did not disappoint. Like, people have been saying that this was not a good book, and I beg to disagree because it was freaking fantastic. Aliens invade the Earth, and humanity has actually been prepared to deal with them since the 70s, because all the video games that have been invented which feature some sort of simulation for an alien attack was actually something to prepare them for the actual attacks. And Zach is one of these avid video game players, and oh god, it's so good. It's so good. Like, people have been saying that it's boring, but it's really not. So things actually pick up quite fast. And you know that it's Ernest Cline because it has so many references, so many pop culture references, and I absolutely adored it. I really urge you guys to pick this up, especially if you loved Ready Player One. So these are all the books that I have read during the month of October. I would love to hear from you guys to tell me what books you have read, what was your favorite of the month. And as always, thank you so very much for watching. And I will see you guys next time. And remember, books for the soul, cookies for the tummy. Bye!